Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the Kingdom Cup that I participated in yesterday. We're just going to review and reflect on some of the decisions that we made, whether they were good, bad, anything in between. Hopefully this will help you understand some of my thought processes as I participate and maybe make you aware of some of the things that I think about when I play other people in real time. And I think it's going to show you too how I interact with a highly competitive scene where it's important for me to win. And then after we look at the tournament, we're going to look at the leaderboards that just dropped and what they can mean for you, for getting regional invites, and the future of Season 1 of the Sylph Arena. In my first match, I was put up against one of the top competitors in our scene. He's the second highest ranked according to our leaderboards, and that's Mateze. I couldn't quite read his team, and I was trying to run the tournament in the middle of everything, and I didn't get in the mindset that I needed to be. So I didn't set up a lot of things that I think I should have. For example, I started with Nalolo Marowak here. I thought that it would be great against his team, but I should have realized that he's going to be leading with stuff that Lola Marowak isn't going to be able to cover. So I tried to get that Lola Marowak a little charge and then switch him out. I didn't get a switch in before the shield came in, but I got the Lapras out before anything happened. He knows that it's an Ice Shard and Ice Beam Lapras, so he switched into Lucario, and that's going to be a losing matchup for me. And honestly, it's actually really bad for me because it also gets his Lucario quite a bit of energy to farm up. I thought I'd bring in my Lola Marowak because I thought that it would be a hard counter enough for him, but he had enough energy that he's going to be able to pop off a Shadow Ball here, which kind of makes me regret bringing in the Lola Marowak. And plus he had enough for this power-up punch here too. So we knock it out with Rock Smash. He brings in a Bastiodon next, actually. So this is not terrible for us. We're going to be able to get a Bone Club off here and take it down quite half health, but we lose this matchup because we did not start an even 1v1 platform. It would have been worse if we had Hex than if we had Rock Smash like we do. So we bring in an Altaria. We know that we've lost by now because, unfortunately, it's just the worst matchup for Altaria. So he's going to switch out here and completely knock us out with this Altaria. I have a Sky Attack. It's not going to do enough damage, but I thought maybe. And he knocks us out with a quick charge attack at the end here. Round 2, I thought I might be able to redeem myself here, but I started a Bastiodon against the Steelix. I'm thinking, I have Flamethrower. I can probably shield these Earthquakes before he can get to them. So I'm trying to rush and get through this, but it's not looking too hot, and my team didn't have much that could deal with that Steelix. I didn't get to prep against anybody that brought a Steelix until the tournament when 3 people showed up with one. So I had to adapt, and I didn't adapt fast enough. You can see there that I even looked at my team to analyze if I could even get a good switch in. But with the shields up, it wasn't worth it. He crunched here. I should have seen that coming, and I wasted a shield, which also put me really far behind. I go for the Flamethrower because I know that he has to shield. And then I'm going to bring in my Combuskin here, trying to do some fire damage to this, but he switches out, brings in a Lapras. I have a Rock Slide that actually will do quite a bit of damage. It's super effective against Lapras, but it's not going to win me anything, and he's going to get to Surf quite fast, especially with that Water Gun doing a ton of damage to Combuskin. He's not really as tanky. I'm probably wouldn't recommend running him this late in the meta. He was great in the early meta, but with Steelix running around, I don't think that he's as good of a choice now. Bring in that Lapras. I'm sorry. Bring in the Altaria to finish off the Lapras, and then he brings in a Steelix that's going to hard wall my Altaria for the most part. I go for a Dragon Pulse just to get a bunch of damage off. It does quite a bit of damage, surprisingly. You can see that I tried to shift out there. Didn't quite get there. I'm going to bring in this Bastiodon, but he immediately switches into a Lucario because he knew what I was about to do. I'm trying to get to the Flamethrower. He gets to a power-up punch. I'm expecting this to knock me out, and it does. Then I bring in my Altaria to try and finish it off. I expected to get to a Sky Attack, but he has a power-up punch. That's the end of that battle. That was my first loss. My next opponent is a good friend of mine, and somebody that I play against pretty frequently. It's Dozer. I was looking at his team. He had the Steelix, which made me nervous, but I was still pretty confident. I started off with a Bastiodon. It's going to beat most of his stuff. And he brought in an Altaria, which is lucky for me, actually. It's a very good matchup, as I said earlier. Altari's worst matchup is against Bastiodon. He knows it. He switches out. He brings in a Lapras. I switched out here. I probably could have stuck with my Bastiodon, but I thought the Altaria was going to be a better matchup at the time. I get to the Sky Attack before he gets to a charge move. I don't know if he has Ice Beam, but I'm going to go ahead and shield here because he charged for quite a while and it could have been an Ice Beam. It's a Blizzard, so now I'm thinking I can finish this with Fast Attacks before he gets to another Blizzard. He's going to be smart. He's going to go for a charge attack here. I know that he doesn't have Ice Beam, so it's going to be a Surf and I don't shield. Finish this with Fast Attacks now. Have enough energy charged up for whatever he brings in next. Took a second to think there, waiting out the clock. I'm going to go for the Dragon Pulse on this Altaria because I think that he's going to think it's a Sky Attack. He does. I completely wiped that out. This basically seals the deal for me. So he goes for the Alola Marowak. I'm going to go for a Sky Attack before I die. He should shield it, which he does. He's going to knock me out pretty quickly here, but I have two options to choose from. I have a Bastiodon. I know that he has Stone Edge ready. Bring it in. He has no shields left. That's going to get us that first match. Now for the second match, I'm starting with a Lucario. It probably wasn't the smartest idea. He starts with the Altaria again, which threw me off. Very clever, sticking with that same lead. That's not what a lot of people do. I'm going to quickly switch out after charging some energy. He's going to switch back out from Altaria to the Alola Marowak. I don't think that he meant to do this, and I think I heard him say that he didn't mean to do this, but he stuck with it. He's going to try and do his best here to get a Shadow Ball off, but I am expecting the Shadow Ball to come. He tricked me and got the Bone Club. So now I wasted a shield. I'm going to get to the Sky Attack, try and burn down another one of his shields. He doesn't shield. He knows that he's in a losing situation there. He kind of just wants to get out of it. I'm not sure what he's going to bring in at this point. If he's going to bring back his Altaria, which he does with energy. I'm expecting a Dragon Pulse, but he brings in the Sky Attack. Probably could have survived that. Wouldn't have been the most ideal, but I could have survived it. I was going to charge up a Dragon Pulse, but I was worried that he was going to get to the Sky Attack next. So we're going to let that play out. I switch out before he can get to anything, and I have a Lucario again with that charge move ready. So I'm going to use that to finish off that Altaria before he can get to anything. And now he brings in his Lucario. I barely get to that Power Punch right there, and that's going to seal us the win. So very good matches, Dozer there. I feel bad because I feel like I swept, but it wasn't because he was a bad player or anything. It was just the way that this cup works out, where if you bring in a lead and it works, you have most of the match sealed. My next opponent is a new competitor locally. His name is Seamitz. I looked at his team. I saw Lucario was going to beat most of it, or at least tie. He brings in Altaria. Sucks for me. That's the one thing that was going to beat it. I'm going to quickly farm up this Power-Up Punch. Duck into this Bastiodon right before the Sky Attack goes off. I know that most people are going to go ahead and pop that off so I can duck in. He knows that he shouldn't be in this matchup. He switches out to a Lucario. This is awful for me. So I'm just going to quickly pop off this Flamethrower, eat up a shield so it's not a complete loss. And I'm just going to let him completely knock out this Bastiodon. There's not any reason for me to shield here. There's nothing for me to save. Just knock it out. This gives me the freedom to bring in an Altaria, which is a pretty good counter for it. That's the exact opposite of the match that we were just in. We have a little bit of a lag, as you can see, but we managed to get it back without having anybody lose any significant health. We both had the same amount of lag. It was a server delay or something. I knew in my gut that was a Shadow Ball, so I was glad that I shielded there. It was very lucky that I did. Most people probably wouldn't have. Get the Sky Attack off, knock out the Lucario. I was surprised that he didn't shield there, but he must have known something that I didn't. Or at least thought that something was going on there. He manages to get to a Sky Attack before I do. I'm going to shield because I think that I can at least knock him out with fast attacks here. Now I have enough energy for a Dragon Pulse or a Sky Attack for whatever he brings in. I'm going to go with a Sky Attack. I kind of wish I'd gone for the Dragon Pulse at this point. But he shields anyway, so it's irrelevant. I'm going to knock him out with a bunch of Dragon Breath before I faint. Bring in a Lucario. I have the Power-Up Punch ready. I probably could have gone for the Shadow Ball, which makes this right here a little riskier, but I managed to get it off. He said he had an Outrage ready right as I knocked him out, so I was very lucky. I probably, again, should have gone for that Shadow Ball. So now we're going into round 2. I'm starting off with a Lapras this time, because it's the Ice Shard Ice Beam. I think that it can do pretty good against most of his team as well. He starts off with a Combuskin. He liked it when I was playing against him and practicing, and so he ran with it. I thought it was kind of cool. Nobody else was using Combuskin except for him and me. I get off a Surf, and he shields. Sorry. I'm expecting a Rock Slide here, and it is. Thank goodness I shield, because that would have taken out more than half of my health. I get to a Surf here again. I'm going to try and bust the shield down. Otherwise, this is going to be a pretty close win for me if he didn't shield. If he did shield. It's going for another Rock Slide. I'm going to shield. I don't want to lose my Lapras quite yet. It's a huge advantage for me, especially without the shields. I can knock it out with a Surf now. Now he brings in a Lucario. This is going to be an instant loss for me. I tried to switch out, but it didn't go through fast enough. So I have a Combuskin or an Altaria to choose from, and I couldn't decide. I ended up going with the Altaria. It's a slightly better counter for it. I don't have any shields here, and this is probably a Shadow Ball. So now I'm just trying to recover as much energy as I can, get off the Sky Attack. He doesn't have the shields to defend it. So we knock him out. And he brings in an Altaria. That's going to wipe us before we get to a Charge Attack. And now we have our Combuskin. Unfortunately, he had enough energy charged up from beating my Altaria that he gets the Sky Attack off and it wipes me. I probably could have won the matchup if I had managed to get to a Rock Slide, but I didn't. So now we go into round 3. Starting with a Lapras again, it still did pretty good. He starts with an Altaria. Perfect for me. I'm going to be doing double damage for each of the weaknesses. He brings in the Kingdra. I'm doing neutral damage at least. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam on this first one. I'm not sure if he knew that I had Ice Beam, Ice Shard. But he guessed. So he shields. That would have taken out quite a bit of his health. I'm expecting an Outrage that's going to hit us for too hard, so I'm going to quickly shield that. I looked at my team quickly, but I decided I was going to stick out this match. Going for the Surf to try and bait a shield. He called it. He double resists that, so it wasn't worth it. But now I'm going for another Surf because I know that it's going to at least do enough damage to knock him out before he gets to that Outrage. And he shields it. So now I know I have to switch out. I'm going to go for the Altaria. I thought I could get a fast attack off before he got the Outrage off, but I have to shield now. Not a good decision on my part in the end. I probably should have just stuck with the Lapras and let it faint. So he brings in a Bastiodon. This is one of those just matchups you hate to be in. I'm going to go for the Dragon Pulse. It does slightly more damage because it's only singly resisted instead of doubly resisted. But otherwise, I'm just waiting this match out. Hopefully waiting that clock down. I'm going to get to the Sky Attack. I wasn't confident that I would get to the Dragon Pulse before he got to a Stone Edge. And I definitely was correct because the Stone Edge goes off right after I get off the Sky Attack. I'm going to bring in my Bastiodon now. It's going to be a slow, long haul to get through this match. He gets to a Charge Attack. It's a Stone Edge. I prefer to go with Flamethrower. I don't know if he actually had Flamethrower on his Bastiodon or if he would just stuck with the Stone Edge because it was going to give him the coverage for exactly what he was using it for. But the Flamethrower does way more damage, in my opinion. It's doing neutral damage rather than resisted damage, even if there's not a same type attack bonus. And I knock him out. He brings in an Altaria. We know that we have this match in the bag. We're going to get that Stone Edge off. It's not going to completely kill him, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't. And so we're just going to chip away at his health until he passes out. But he decides he wants to be a little jerk and pull off a Dragon Pulse just for the hell of it. And that's the end of that match. That was a good one. And our final match is back up against Mateze. This isn't supposed to happen in the Swiss format, but it did. In most circumstances, you're supposed to fight someone you're supposed to fight somebody that's new every round. Excuse me, I can't talk right now. But because there was not a lot of people that were going undefeated so far, he was the only person that was undefeated, and I had probably the highest rank among the rest of the people, so it put us back up against each other. We're taking quite a bit of time to select our teams. I'm looking at his again, and I'm just thinking to myself, so he has the Bastiodon, Lapras, Blaziken, Lucario, Steelix. Most of those are going to completely wipe out anything that I have that's going to be a Bastiodon. I didn't want to bring it. I end up starting with an Altaria. It's going to beat or tie 4 of the people on his team. He goes to the Blaziken, which is lucky for me as a lead. So he quickly switches out and brings in a Lucario. I decide to stick with it. I mean, that's a power-up punch. It wasn't enough time for him to charge up a Shadow Ball there. So I'm going to go with this Sky Attack, eat up a shield. I look at my team again, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Marowak now. It's a hard counter. He only has one shield. I can probably get away with it. I can tell that he's charging up a Shadow Ball here. I'm going to try and get a Bone Club off. Maybe he'll let it die, and he does. He brings in a Bastiodon. Again, this is not a terrible matchup for us, especially because we had the shields. We'll get a Bone Club off here, which he shields. I probably wouldn't have, and if I were him, I would have saved that shield. I'm rushing to get to this Bone Club, but he knocks us out before we get to a second one. So now I'm going to bring in a Lucario because he's locked into this Bastiodon matchup. He's going to go for a Flamethrower. I need to shield this if I want to hold on to my Lucario and get it powered up. So I farm that last attack, and I have enough for a power-up punch for whatever he brings in. It's a Blaziken. I'm going to quickly fire off that power-up punch. He has no shields left. And knock out the Blaziken. And that wins me that first match really quickly. And that's seriously how much the lead can affect your matchup. This time I'm sticking with the Altaria. He has the Steelix. Again, I didn't get enough time to practice against Steelix, so I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but I farmed up, going in, switching in for the Lucario. He switches out and brings in an Altaria. I'm going to get this power-up punch off. He doesn't shield because he knows it's not going to do a ton of damage right away. I'm going to keep farming up. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball here, but he's getting the Sky Attack, so I have to shield. I'm going to get the Shadow Ball. I'm going to hope that he doesn't expect it to come, but I did farm up for quite a bit. I didn't fake anything, so he adequately guesses that I'm powering up a Shadow Ball. So now here I'm going to go for the Power-Up Punch just before I die, because I don't expect that I'll get to a Shadow Ball before I pass out. Does quite a bit more damage than we both expected, and I actually managed to knock him out with just a sliver of health. He didn't expect it, and this gives me a competitive edge. I know what he's bringing in now. He manages to knock me out. I bring in my Marowak, because I have the Rock Smash that's going to be doing super effective damage. Luckily, I shielded either the Crunch or the Earthquake is going to hurt me, so I had to shield either way. But this Crunch here is going to take out quite a bit. Luckily, I have the Bone Club ready. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the Steelix with that move. He still has one shield left, and I'm up against Lucario. This is, for the most part, it's going to be good. He should have charged up a Shadow Ball here instead of going for a Power-Up Punch, honestly. But I think he kind of knew it was probably close to over. So he shields. We're going to fight it out. He will get to knock me out, but I bring in this Altaria for the Sky Attack because I knew it was charged up, and I didn't want him to be able to farm me up and get a Shadow Ball and then knock it off on my Altaria to kill me. So I like to think that that was clever playing on me. I think that he thought he was going to get away with it and underestimated me, but I can't say that for sure. Again, he's a very good competitor. I know that he knows those strategies. I had to try and prep and expect him to be able to do those kinds of things. And then just to quickly wrap this video up before it gets too long, the leaderboards for the Sylph Arena are out. There's quite a bit of cool things going on there. You can see the top players. You can see where they play, how many wins they have, how many losses they have, and what their win-loss ratio is. However, you should expect these things to be changing rapidly. For example, just last night when I went to bed, I was actually ranked 400. Now I'm sitting at about rank 406, and that's just as things get tweaked, as more results come in, as some people's results get recounted because maybe they didn't get counted correctly the first time, or cups didn't quite go through correctly. Like I know some people had cups where they didn't report all their results correctly, or they didn't all get reported before it concluded, and that means that their cup didn't get counted in that first run of the leaderboards. So now that those are being corrected, the rankings are still changing. Just expect a lot of things to shift, especially since we're in season 1. It's one big beta effectively. Nonetheless, don't be discouraged if you think that your ranking is low. It's pretty easy to bring up. Just continuously fight. Do your best. Keep playing. Travel and meet new people. Challenge those new people in those cups, because the amount of unique people that you are fighting and beating will bring up your score significantly. If you just continuously play the same people, beat the same people, and lose to the same people, your ranking isn't going to change that much. It's going to be pretty accurate. But if you know that you're a better competitor, consider going to local cups, places nearby. Like I know that I'm going to start traveling to places that are up to about 2 hours away, at the most, probably for now. But there's just so much opportunity. I think that people are going to start actually taking things a little more seriously with these cups now that we have these out. Also, you can check out your local leaderboards if you go to the sylph.gg website and click on the leaderboards tab, and then you can see the global leaderboards, and then you can scroll down a little bit further, and there's your local leaderboards for all your different places that you're registered for cups. So I have 3 because I've competed in 3 different communities so far. Nonetheless, there's going to be regionals. If you make the regionals cutoff for the global standings, and which a lot of people are speculating to be about, if you're 2,200 or above, statistically you should be getting a regional invite, and you can take that and compete anywhere that there's a regional tournament. And there's a lot of contention too about whether those are too far apart, whether they're going to be big enough, whether people are going to make them. I'm not going to dive into that. I have my opinions, but I don't think that they're relevant for the video like this. I just want to make sure that you're aware of how that's kind of working, how you will go about competing in regionals. There's 2 other ways to become eligible for regionals. One of those is to win a tournament, a cup tournament, with 32 people or more. You are guaranteed to get an invite to regionals if you win a tournament of 32 or more. And then the other way is to be high in your community. Every community is guaranteed at least 1 regional invite, and anybody that qualified through either the global cutoff or through winning a 32-person tournament will not count against you. So if you have some pretty top competitors and they're going to make it those other ways, you still have a chance. So take a look at your local leaderboards, see who's going to probably get that cutoff for global invites, see who is probably going to be getting the 32 plus tournament invite, and then evaluate your odds of getting a one. Sorry, I'm kind of stuttering here, but there's just so much going on. It's so exciting, and I hope that if you have any questions, I can actually probably clarify those better in the comment section than I can here. I'm just kind of rambling off the top of my head now. But before this video gets too long, we're going to quickly wrap it up here. I hope this gave you more insight into what I'm thinking about. I'm doing pretty well standings-wise. I expect my rank to fall a little bit as more results for the month come in and as the cups continue to play out. I'm not the top player. I don't think that I'm terrible, but I don't think that I'm one of the best. Currently, I'm sitting at about top 1%. That's probably going to drop to within about 2% probably is my guess. Anyway, I think I've said everything I need to say. I hope that you learned something about how I think about my tournaments and how I play in my tournaments when there's a win or a loss on the line. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, please leave them below. I'll try to answer every single one that I can. Give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was entertaining, informative, or just worth watching. Definitely recommend to your friends if you think that they can learn something too. And make sure to subscribe and hit that bell if you want to find out when new videos are posted. I'm going to try and keep up a 1 a week at least. Thanks for watching. I'm ClyFox. I'll catch you in the next video.